And we are live on YouTube. All right. Hey, everybody. What's going on here? Chris Toto with Eastern Division Young Adult Program. Welcome to our, what episode is this? 4?
This is episode 4.
The 4th episode of the Everyday Heroes live broadcast. With us tonight, we got Program Supervisor Craig Larson.
Hey, how you doing?
And the man of the hour here, our special guest tonight, former Eastern Division Director.
Oh, it sounds so old.
John Kane. John, welcome to the program.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and we're doing it here outside tonight, this beautiful fall night. Craig's going to log in on his phone. But we're sitting outside, you know, socially distanced and some fresh air. Getting a little chilly, right, guys?
Not really.
What do you mean?
You're all stalled up in your nice.
I got shorts
jacket.
on.
I know.
I got
Oh,
shorts
my.
on.
All
I
right,
got
well,
the flip flops still
I
going.
do have a sweater on.
There's a chill in the air. Fall's coming, I think. We're going to see some white stuff soon. What do you think?
I hope so.
I think so.
Let's see if we can slide on it.
Yeah, so guys, tonight's theme is leadership, right? And we thought as the young adult we thought as the young adult program, who better to talk about leadership than John Kane, a guy who has held many leadership positions in the National Ski Patrol, who still wants to further his leadership and give back to the members. And we're going to talk about leadership tonight with John Kane. So remember, as we're watching tonight, as you guys are watching at home, please jump in with your comments, jump in with what we're talking about in on the conversation, and make sure you jump in with some questions for John, because I know you're ready for the questions, right?
I've got so much to say. I don't need questions.
Wow. Wow.
Very cool. So let's get started here. John, just give us a little bit of intro. Like, how did you get started with the National Ski Patrol? Where have you been? Where have you patrolled? Tell us about your story.
Oh my God, this might not be what you really want to hear, but I'll tell you the real story is that I was just skiing at night at Blue Hills after school, Northeastern. My wife was out west at RPI, and I needed something to do.
Huh.
And so I went up to this guy with a cross, noticing that they were cutting lines and skiing for free. I said, that sounds like a good gig. So I went up and tapped him on the shoulder in my nice blue one-piece suit. And they said, who are
Did
you?
it look good on you or what?
Oh, it's sexy, man. Sexy. So I went up and asked them, how do I do this? You know, and they said, do what? I said, well, do like you're doing, cut lines and ski for free. And I said, well, you're going to have to go back home and think about that one a little bit. So I did. I thought about it. I just rephrased the question. I got into a CPR course and an advanced first aid. We didn't have OEC back then. And so that's how it all started for me at Big Blue Hills in Canton, Mass. So
What year was that, John?
1979.
1979. I bet you some of our viewers, John, 1979,
Nah,
they don't need, no.
it's a good year. It's a good year.
I know. I didn't know it, but yeah. So I mean, and tell us where you patrol now and where you reside now. You're not still at Blue Hills, right?
No, but I'm still an alumnus member of the Guerrilla Ski Patrol. We have a lot of guerrillas out there, so I do all the guerrillas. And one actually we have 2 that are now sent. Well, Colorado, Tony Camerata, Patrol Director, Operations Manager at A Basin, and Mike Russo,
Really?
Wow.
Risk Manager.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So for powder, I believe. Mike, you're gonna have to check in on that. I want to make sure I'm right on that. But
So Mike Russo, let us know.
yeah,
Fact
that's
check.
right. That's
So
right.
what does it mean to be a gorilla?
So you
You got to ski like a gorilla? What does that mean?
We did things out of bounds.
You mean Blue Hills is out of bounds?
I don't know what you're saying.
Make sure you guys talk a little bit louder.
Louder. We're getting the cues to talk louder. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I was talking loud. But,
Yeah. So, and guys, remember, ask a comment if you have comments. Ask some questions as we go along here throughout the night.
Jared
And-
liked the onesie to make a comeback. Jerry Pollard would like
Jerry
the onesie
Pollard
to
wants
take
you to bring the onesie.
all right,
back,
Jerry,
so-
good for you.
But
Yeah.
and also, by the way, before we forget, stay tuned to the end of the broadcast. We're giving away some free swag tonight, right?
We have hats to give away. We got stickers. We got some goodies for you.
We got it all. So, John, now you're up in Maine, right? And maybe for some of our young adult patrollers, even for maybe some newer adult patrollers who don't know, what is the division director? What does that job entail? Like, why are we even sitting here with you right now?
Well, first, let me just let you know where I do ski, and that is at Sunday River. Right now, as a patroller since 1995,
Wow.
and did a little stint at Mount Abram. And also as a patrol director at Prospect Hill in Waltham back in the day.
Wow.
So there was some things. So there was my
Prospect Hill.
there's my total coverage of areas I
On
was.
what, Facebook? Oh, go ahead.
But as far as division director, I think before you even consider that, you have to put in some time to understand the operations of how the division works. That is being a patroller that's interested in doing one of the core programs, such as OEC, OET, and getting involved with how that works, and then become an instructor, and then teach a class, teach instructors, knowing how to register courses, how to close courses for everybody. Close
hot
courses.
topic.
Yeah. And so, you go through the fundamentals of the basics of all your programs to really get an idea of how it all ticks. And so what you do is you take that from your region. And I was an Amari director for a while, for back in the day of 1988 through 92. So I was very young.
1988.
Yeah, 88.
92. I was really young too.
And by the
Wow.
way, there was a little known person by the name of Ed McNamara who actually followed me as a Mari RD back in 1992. So there you go. So there's some vintage people there. But that was a really good crowd. Dave Walkers of the world, so on and so forth. Guys like that, my mentor, and Jimmy O'Connor's, and Jeff Condon is a name that somebody can look up. That was a guy from Wachusett.
Jeff Condon.
That's right.
Wow.
So you've been around, right? And you actually let's move up 6 inches here so everybody can hear us better.
Right,
so we're gonna move up just a little bit.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps with the volume, guys. And Craig and I might get cut off on Instagram, but you got the guy right here. So if you can't hear us, let us know. Hopefully that fixes it. All right. And but by the way, comments, questions, drop them. Our moderators are last. So I was gonna ask you, what was your first intro to leadership? And you kind of gave a list already, but especially for our young adult patrollers that are watching, when you were a region director, you moved into division director. What do you think prepared you to be a division director and lead the entire Eastern Division from Maine to West Virginia?
It's funny. Nothing really. You don't go out to be a division director. You don't go out to do that. People recognize leadership. They recognize people who can drive programs. They recognize the enthusiasm one can bring to the job. And I think as much as knowledge is key for these positions, I think you have to have a little bit of that charisma. You have to be a little bit on the wild side. You have to be entertaining to a lot of different, levels of patrolling. And so you have to be wild and crazy for the yaps. And I love that, Craig. I'm still a yap, guys. I'm still, when it was a junior to students to yaps, I've been through the whole range with every one of you. And one of the things that I've always got from the juniors, they were always trying to get to take me on, on the bump. So it's like, you're not going to beat me until you beat me. So that was what was
I've seen a few kids come close at the yaps.
They're getting closer every year.
But this gorilla's still got it. So I think we got a question. And guys, questions, comments, keep them coming.
Eric Hoberg would like to know, what advice do you have for someone thinking about taking the leap into a leadership position? What do you wish you had known before taking the leap?
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, Eric,
what do you wish you'd known before?
He's trying to be cerebral on me. So the way it goes, Eric, is that you got to be good at your craft, and people have to recognize you're in a group, and you kind of generate that leadership by it kind of comes natural, right? So if you're leading the pack, if you're understanding fundamentals, then you go back to sticking to fundamentals, but then, going out beyond that a little bit. You got to push the limits. And I think when you start doing that, you find out who you are.
Yes.
And then as that develops, you say, hey, you know what? I got something here, and I think I can impart that to somebody else. And I think if I get believers that believe in that, I think that's how you kind of get a following, and then you're going to get pushed in a way, the word called voluntold, to take on a leadership position. And I think sometimes you got to push, others to encourage them to take on leadership positions. And I think as I look back, and the people who pushed me into leadership positions, you have to do that. So we've done that to this guy. We've done that to this guy. And So he's coming into certified program. This guy's coming into certified program. So I don't know what they're laughing about hysterically, but we'll get him
that's a
there.
good one. Yeah.
We'll get him there.
Yeah. You know, John, here in the Eastern Division, we teach our young adults how to play.
Yes. Oh,
We
God,
teach
don't.
our young adults how to participate,
Participate.
L,
Learn. Yeah.
A, articulate, and Y,
Yield.
yield.
Yes, I know
We
it.
think when you know how to play, that makes you a leader.
Yes.
And I think in all your positions, you have been a very good player. You participate.
Yep.
You learn.
Yep.
You learn what I have to do as a leader. What are the rules? What do I need to do? How do I work the system? You articulate. You use your words. You delegate. And why? You listen to your people. And sometimes you may have to yield. John, can you think of a situation where as a leader, maybe you've had to play or you've had to P, participate, L, learn, A, articulate, Y, yield?
Okay, I've done the PLA. It's hard for me to yield. I can tell you it's a hard thing, but it's when it's appropriate to do so. I think that's the part you really start defining yourself as leadership, because if you can step back and you can take it all in and you let others, come into the room and start teaching with you or teaching the program, that's how you develop leadership beyond yourself. And when you pull be happy unless we get him in here. Orist, get over here. And I bet you now Orist is going to be like, they're going, Orist, how is he involved? So real quick,
you never
give a wave, say hello.
There he is.
Hey, everybody.
What? Just because you dragged me in 1991?
Yeah, that's it. So
Orist's cameo. You never know who's going to show up to a young adult. That's why we have the most fun, everybody.
So,
but John, I think you really hit it on the head there. I mean, when Craig asked the question to you just now, and I thought the answer you said, I'm like, I've seen John Kane as division director really empower the people that he has working, not for you, but for the members of the Eastern Division. Yep. And you let those people that are running programs, that are running the young adult, running MTR, thrive, and you support them as a leader. And I think that's a great quality. And you said it's hard to yield, and we tell that to our young adults, right? It's hard to yield, but here you have a guy who's at the top of the division, and he's yielding. He's leading by example on how to yield. And there was a question on YouTube, what's a great quality of leader? I think that's what won. We got at least two questions right now.
Yes.
Keep them coming.
So we have a question from Ingrid Shuttleworth, and we have
Hey, Ingrid.
Yeah, and we have another one from Andrew Lally, I think. That's
Andrew.
Is that Jackie now?
So we'll start with Ingrid's, which was asking you to confirm that you're a certified patroller, and what did it take to get there, and how has that enhanced your experience with patrol?
Okay, you really don't want to know. That's how we can start out with that. I was actually pushed in by a guy we just mentioned, Dave Walker, who promised me that all we had to do was ski, and that was it. And then there was something, and then there was something about first aid, something about lift back, all this stuff that I was not prepared, all the stuff. Yeah, and I actually had a drowning experience on my first attempt at that. But the reality is I was not ready. I was a young skier thinking that I was on top of the world and everything. And I became involved and got to know a lot of true leaders, true dedicated patrollers who matured through the system and demonstrated to me right then and there that I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And that's why I moved to Sunday River, so that I get a big mountain experience, because I just didn't have it down here at Blue Hills. And that's nothing against Blue Hills, but there wasn't much in the words of risk, mitigation, risk, awareness, and so on. So that's how I really got into certified, was to really dive into the risk side of things, understand what it meant to manage those things out to day-to-day skiing. Yeah. And then, of course, improve your own performance. Yeah. And so that's what it meant to me, is to learn the road to it, and not to get the number.
Yeah.
So to sum it up, certified helped develop some of your leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think we would all agree, and I think everybody watching would agree, not just certified, but any of the programs through the National Ski Patrol, Mountain Travel Rescue, Avalanche, Young Adult, Senior, right? All these programs are pushing you to become leaders in that field, in the National Ski Patrol, at home, at school, at work, right? We're creating leaders in the things that we're doing.
And that's why Dave Walker and I created this certified boot camp.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that you are being trained to become certified. It was the journey to it. And if you're limited by any situation, if you're just not quite there yet, maybe we can get you there. But it was the journey to it, is learning the information along the way. And no matter what you do in that particular program, in the YAP program, you walk away with information that you can bring back to your patrols, your, to other members that you're, finding out about and learning about and being introduced to. So it's quite a great opportunity.
Yeah. Before I ask another question, I think Andrew Lally had a question as well.
Yeah.
Andrew, what's up, dude?
I think connected to
buddy.
this. So, do you feel that you're ever too young or inexperienced to start trying to become a leader or an instructor?
What a great question from a young adult. Are you ever too young or inexperienced to start trying? What do you think?
Just wait it out.
No.
No way. I think the longer you wait to be a leader, you're just looking in the rearview mirror. I think to be a leader is to forge ahead. People, as young kids, we want to take chances. I think the guidance by the programs of YAP and other things, if your own patrol, they want you to go out and expand that. They want you to push, but they also want you to be safe.
Yeah.
And so if you understand the boundaries of what is to be safe, not just for you, but the people you're responsible for, because there are going to be those leaders in those groups that they're going to look to you, to kind of, are we going to push down this mobile field? Are we going to go through the woods? And maybe you're up to it. Maybe the guy next to you is up to it. But how about the people behind you that are maybe not up to it, and you're bringing them along with you? They could be in trouble. And we have to make sure that everybody, and that's part of leadership, right? Everybody wants to go down that trail, but if everybody can't, let's go as a group and be safe and have fun together. And that's really what leadership's all about.
And I think that's a great point, John, because leadership starts with the small things. I mean, we see it at our own patrols. We see it at our own jobs. We saw it growing up. When you don't just become a leader by becoming the head of a program, becoming the head of the young adult program or a division director. You start by leading by example, right?
Yeah.
You start with the little things, like John just said, and that's a great way to get into leadership. And I think you build that character.
Yeah.
Over time.
Character.
I think when you come down, what was that?
Character.
I don't know what that was.
Character.
But anyway,
Who's got it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Character.
So anyway, I think the best demonstration of what you said earlier, Chris, was letting other people lead in their own element. For instance, yes, I was a division director when we had to make a decision on the YAP program up at Smugs, right?
Yeah.
And the
COVID-19.
COVID-19 hit.
Yeah.
And everybody was telling the Eastern Division, shut it down. And I think what we did was we incorporated people like Eric Silver, which I made a joke the other day about Eric, and they said, who's Eric Silver? Because Eric was really not involved in much other than giving a report every year.
Yeah.
But that guy is a hero to a lot of us, because he gave us, when it came time for a medical advisor, out of nowhere, he was the leading force about guidance and giving us the great intel that we need to make decisions.
Yep.
And by the way, guys, yes, I had people in places to make those decisions, but it was these guys right here that I empowered to make it happen or call it. So Chris came up, if I'm not mistaken, I think Chris came up with the guidelines for our steps, the way we had it was a go, no-go step, go, no-go, and we had how many of those steps in? There was like 11 or 12 or steps that, we followed, and we were going, we were going to go. And then right up until we had one particular item that we found out that caused a no-go forward was it was part of the script.
Yeah.
And Chris helped write that, and I was so proud. I'd never been more proud of that. And many times, and you guys go on the national office and you'll hear a recording that says from the national chair that Eastern Division led the way, at the very early onset of that. So I was very proud of this group and very proud of the certified group who also followed the same process that we did for YAPs.
Yeah.
And see, so that's how it works. That's how it works from one program to another.
And I think, thanks for that. But I think you bring up a good point here, is that leadership is not always easy.
Yeah.
And leadership means you have to make a decision that people aren't going to be happy about.
Right.
And while it's not fun, we always think of leadership as giving out the free swag, which you'll win if you stay on till the end of the show, by the way, or going and ripping up the bumps with everybody. But you got to make those tough decisions too.
Yeah.
Just remember, ask your questions and comments as we go through here. Throw them in here. Even if you just want to say hi to John Kane, come visit us, wherever I patrol.
John likes to visit.
And speaking of that, another question I had for you, and I think I know what you're going to say here, or maybe I don't. But how do you, as someone who is a division director, and you have aspirations to keep growing your service to the NSP, how do you, this big hotshot guy, connect with the average line patroller, the average young adult just doing his thing, whacking bamboo at the mountain? How do you connect with that and get to know people from not just Maine, but anywhere? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't. So many people know me for me, and I never go out and celebrate division director. I never do that.
Yeah.
I think if we stay humble to our jobs as a patroller, we stay fundamentally, what I want to say, responsible to our home mountains, because they need us first. They need us to be patrolling.
Yeah.
They need us on duty, and we have to do that duty. When we show up for work. Then you maybe branch out to certain educational formats, and then you're asked to be a teacher that day or an instructor that day, or they may ask you to lie in the snow, for to be part of that scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do anything it takes to, make sure that is a learning platform for anybody else to, move upward and onward.
Yeah.
So
awesome. I think we have a question from the crowd. Again,
Yeah.
keep the questions, comments coming.
We have another question from Eric, who wants to know, how do you monitor the performance of and provide feedback to the National Ski Patrol members that you lead?
That's a loaded question. Can I take that?
Wow.
In 5?
Summarize it again.
So
about monitoring performance, or monitoring people's progress towards things and providing feedback to members
Feedback.
you lead.
Yeah, progress and feedback.
yeah, that's also kind of core, right? So it's what we're trained to do. We call it the 6-pack program, and I think you can use that very on a micromanaged type of thing, or you can use that as a very expanded type of format. So when we talk about progress, in instructor in courses, that's kind of micro, right? We're trained to do these certain things, but in progress of a division, that's where we kind of meet every so often. We used to, meet just 3 times a year, but listening to some of our leadership within the division said, "Hey, listen, we should be talking more. We should be communicating more. We can't let this information go from the fall all the way to the spring and hoping these guys are doing the good job."
Yeah.
Instead, what we did was we met once a month to determine how did we set you up for budgets?
Yeah.
Do you have the right resources to move ahead? Are we going to be good for our competition that happens in March? So all of those things have to be measured. All of those things have to be pulsed to make sure that you're going to have what you need to give good, products in terms of programs. And I think that takes a lot of communication and a lot of contact to each of the managers of all our programs. And that's another thing leadership has to do broadly, to make sure that we're on top of what we do.
Do you have a question or no?
No.
Oh, so again, keep those questions and comments coming. And I think on top of that too, that trickles down. That's at the division level. That's across 15 regions, right?
Yep. We're 9,100 people.
9,100 people in the Eastern
patrollers.
Division.
Yeah.
9,000.
That's including the pros. And I want to say something about the pro division, because very not too long ago, but before I came into it, we had a lot of them and us. There was a lot of pros, and and then there's the volunteers. I think the things we work together with Tate Jamon as and
Tate,
what's up, Tate?
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, new Subaru ambassador.
Hey!
Welcome to the club.
That's right. So Tate we gave him a seat at the table of the RDs,
Yes.
not a voting one, but yet informational, so that we can really get an idea of how we can integrate our processes to be the same, not to be them and us, but to be all one for one purpose,
Yeah.
you know? And so I think by doing that, and us volunteers attending NSAA conferences to sit at the table of their patrol directors meeting, that's also important to get the good intel to make good decisions down the road.
Yeah, and again, to that trickle downism, I mean, so much of all the stuff we're talking about is such a big picture, but it comes down to, I think, why, especially right now, there's just such great camaraderie in the NSP. You know, you can patrol, and I look at it from the young adult side. We could take kids from Crotchet Mountain in New Hampshire and put them together with kids at Blue Knob in Pennsylvania, and it's like they've been in high school with each other for 3 years. You know? And that trickles down from between the pros and volleys, different regions, even different divisions. It's because of what's going on at that division level and leadership, right? Empowering people to make connections and work for a common good, that really sets the tone for that. So I think that's really cool. Something that at least I've seen as a young guy that came into this, that has happened under your watch with the help of many people. You know, definitely. Again, questions, comments, keep them coming. Stay tuned to win some free swag. We got any questions there, moderator, or no?
Somebody says thanks for the shout out for Blue Knob.
Hey, Blue Knob. Well, speaking of Blue Knob, we had a situation where we went down to a young adult event at Blue Knob, and Mr. John Kane just happened to be there the same weekend. He was going to do his visit. And while he was there, we had this, let's just call him a very young
yellow suit,
a wee lad,
young guy,
young, and he decided, with the permission of those that be, to get in the handles of the sled. And again, he was a young patroller, and Mr. John Kane said, "Well, I'll jump in that sled." There was no hesitation. He jumped right in that sled, and this little man,
I got pictures of that.
This little man had never drove before. And he drove down that hill like a champ. And you should have seen John's face light up. And you could see the wheels of this kid turning. And we gave this kid the chance to show his leadership at the age of, well, very young. We won't mention his age.
That was a great day. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Definitely.
Yeah. Big country.
Big country shout out. Oh, question.
We have a question from Mark Clem.
Hey!
Asking John how you think the COVID-19 virus will affect the NSP programs this winter.
Mark Clem, always asking the tough ones.
I feel like he's out there right now, he's just
laughing.
Like at my face. Mark, that's a ever-changing, day-to-day, week-to-week thing. I'm sure you know that. I think you're just asking that for the general discussion of it. But the truth of the matter is, we just don't know. We have some resorts that have things in play right now. We're thinking that, when you think about how they're going to put people on the slopes, it's not going to be the same, because head count is going to be key this year. So if we're on the slopes doing our normal OET thing, which, by the way, we're talking about restrictions of no more than 6 in a group, you know, at any one time, that's head count we're taking away from consumers paying the bills to these resorts. So we have to be sensitive to that. And so things like OET programs, we're going to have a challenge this year, but we'll find a way. We always find a way. OEC, I think, has a better shot to continue their programs. I've heard, things about senior programs. We're still working through that, how we're going to do it. But like I said, I think we have people who will find a way. We always do. We're a push forward organization. We want to be the preferred provider of education tools and programs to all of our customers, which is our resorts. And I just think that COVID can't stop us. All right. It's an obstruction. It's an obstacle, but we'll push forward. So
it might look different, but
it's definitely going to look different.
It will.
At least this year. And you know what? It may change some things for us, our practices to go forward. But I think we're learning from it. From the very first introduction of COVID to a program. We had how many kids signed up for? 78?
78.
78 kids signed up for it, and telling them that they can't come. That was a shocker. But you know what? We pushed through it. OEC 5, when they said stop, we found a way. We got that program done and we pushed forward. So we will continue to push forward.
And there's going to be plenty more news to come on that too. Another question.
Yeah, we've got a couple of shout outs. Do you know a Jen Gillette? Does that name mean something to you? We got an
That's my
attitude.
daughter.
Attitude reflects leadership! ! Great job, Dad. Love you.
Wow, all right. Yeah.
Love you, honey.
Andrew.
Wait, 1 sec though. She didn't mention the real leader in that house.
Whoa.
Miss Deb Kane.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Careful, buddy.
Andrew Lally wanted to extend an invitation to Mohawk Mountain in Connecticut.
Andrew.
Absolutely.
And by the way,
Mohawk.
on YouTube, you have an invitation to Alaska.
Oh,
Alaska.
awesome.
And we're
Is that
going there
Jonathan
too.
Barber?
It's not Barber, it's somebody else. So
Oh, somebody
Is that
else from
Donna?
Alaska, not Jonathan.
Is it Donna? Who is that?
wow. Hold on.
All the way-
it's Donna.
Donna Gardino?
Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hey,
Yeah.
Donna.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't want to be political here, but Donna Gardino is running for the national board, an exceptional person with lots of credentials in terms of strategic plan and so on. Please read the National Forum for all the leaders. It's great choice of leadership this year.
A lot of
them.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we are in good hands no matter who gets on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there some other shout outs?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff
Oh,
going on
geez.
over in Facebook. So we
Wow.
had a question from Mark Kearns.
Okay.
Asking John, what influence do you see large corporate resort ownership having on the future of NSP? How does National Ski Patrol maintain its national autonomy?
Wow.
Wow. That's a deep
Whoa.
one. There,
Okay, that's about the end of the show.
That's when the young adult guys walk away.
Yeah.
You can keep it simple. This
Yeah.
is light. We're talking about leadership. So we don't need to take position
No, it's
pieces,
okay.
but
It's okay. It's okay because it is a very true thing, and I think
Yes.
it comes back to who do we want to be as an organization?
Yeah.
Are we going to sit back and let everybody else kind of, determine the boundaries of what we do going forward as an educational program provider?
Yes.
Do we kind of wait for other entities to kind of push forward and show their, what they can do? I think we're in a very good position to be a resource to all of our customers, being our resorts. The larger resort question is, they definitely want to establish consistency throughout all of their resorts. We're a big part of that. I think the National Ski Patrol has been a huge partner in getting those consistent programs across the country and also internationally. So stay tuned. There are going to be we always have some bumps that we run into, but we always come together. Again, NSAA meetings are great, a forum for that, for us to surface our capabilities, to match, to match our resources accordingly.
yeah, and that was a good question actually, because I mean, you gave a great answer. That's why you're in charge and I run the Instagram.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking back to like my experience and seeing leadership all around. It comes when we have big questions like that what we're facing as a whole organization. I think it comes back to what we've talked about, is that the leading by example, the empowering others. And as we already talked about, building relationships. I think there's big scary questions like that, but when it comes down to it, by leaders like yourself, like Craig, like everybody else that's at the top, when you empower the average guy, gal, instructor to go out and do their thing, it doesn't matter what resort you're from,
That's right.
what company you
That's
patrol
right.
for.
Yep.
That's right.
You could take this guy, that girl from all over, far west, Eastern Division, Southern, Pro, this, that,
Alaska.
Alaska, we're coming.
Donna.
And I think we get out there and we ski and we have a good time. I mean, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I hear your answer and I'm kind of reading between the lines. That's what I think you really, from I've seen from you. You get out there and it doesn't matter. Everybody gets together and has a common goal. I don't know. I think that's what I heard from you. So another question.
Well, Justin Guth wants the record
Oh,
to
Justin
reflect.
Guth.
All right, now we're
We
gonna
can't
end
put this on the air.
Yeah. Is
He,
this-
he would like the record to reflect that John's brother Mike Kane can ski better.
Ah! Well, I don't know if he's watching. He did.
And then we have another question from Eric asking who within the National Ski Patrol has had the greatest impact upon you as a leader?
Nice.
Wow, that's a great question.
There's no doubt that I'll always come back to Mr. Dave Walker.
Yeah.
I mean,
What a guy.
Dave Walker.
And Dave, Dave is one of those guys that when he believes in something, it's straightforward. You can't stop him.
Yes. Yes.
But there are other great, people that have influenced, I have influences that have influenced me rather. John Shipman is another one.
Yeah.
John Shipman is the one who kind of guided me to become
And who was he, for those who don't know?
the former division director before me, and kind of had that style about, just relax, listen to what everybody else has to say, formulate the good plan, and then use that combination of goodwill and push it forward.
I think,
Yeah.
and that's a great question,
Yeah.
because I'm going to turn that into one of my questions I had for you, which I'm genuinely curious about. Can you think of, just turning it on you now, just even a specific person or example that as a leader you've helped, whether as division director or as an instructor back in 1971 or whatever, 652 with Mitty Dole, right? Can you think of a specific person or
Yeah,
somebody?
absolutely. Justin Guth. I mean, I taught him everything he knows. There's
Oh,
nothing
boy.
he can say, and that's on my terms now. No, this great skier, great person, and great family, by the way, ski
Yes.
patrolling family.
Hey, Guth.
Really, the people that I have, my core, my trio. If you think about it, it's Scott Crofts,
Yeah.
Carl Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and there's also Scott Kroll, Jim Wackel. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Whack-Man.
a lot of people.
what
Whack-Man.
happens is it just keeps rolling because this camaraderie thing, right?
Yeah.
When you get like goals and you want to do those things and you have the capabilities to ski together, to go through a program together. I mean, if you think about it, Carl Johnson is the one who carved the way. He did it
Yeah.
earlier than us.
Yeah.
I had a family growing up, so I had to take a back seat there for a second. But and like Scott Crofts, he had to wait his
Yes.
turn because his
Absolutely.
family was growing. But look at that now. You have a Cross family that's what?
They're everywhere.
4.
Oh, man.
Not as much as the Thomases though.
Oh.
And let me give out another another thing. Of course, Neil won't be on here, but Neil Dixon, the Jim Slatterys of the world.
Yeah.
Jim
I mean,
Slattery.
There's the oldest yap, that ever will be in the Eastern Division. I think
like 58 years patrolling
crazy,
now, right?
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
These guys, people like that, show what this organization offers for longevity.
Yep.
The kind of interest that it keeps. Our oldest average, I think it kind of waffles between 53 and 55 years old.
Yep.
What does that tell you guys? What does that tell you, gals and young yaps out there? We need more of you.
Yeah.
And don't hold back. Knock on the doors of your resorts, knock on the doors of these guys, and get involved and talk to all of your friends sideways to come into this organization because we need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a couple questions, but I'm gonna pick off on that one because Donna Giardino actually asked you a question on YouTube. And
Again?
I know now she's asking you the tough ones. But I think
Wow.
I think it goes a little competition here. Donna, if you want to come on the show, let us know. We'll get you.
Hey, all right.
There you go. You got to get on the show.
But anyways, she asked, and I'm gonna add on to it. She asked, what drives you to want to have more responsibility as a leader? And I'm gonna link that not so much to everybody watching, but specifically to our young adults. Like you just said, get involved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what drives you to want more? And hopefully that will drive them.
I think it's unfinished business. I think when we're at that level with division director, you're exposed to these great people out there that are running programs on a national level, and you're being asked to join committees, and then you get certain responsibilities in these committees.
Yeah.
And one committee that I'm involved with right now is business process, and what we're trying to do is trying to get everything that we know about the business of the organization. And Mike Shones, if he's watching, this is part of that, the identity of some of our the classifications of what we call people, such as section chiefs.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing here is, and we have section chiefs. So Eastern and Central have a thing called section chiefs. The rest of the organization does not. And so what we're talking about there is, all right, do we simply just abandon section chiefs and call it something else? Or do we really embrace the idea that, hey, this particular division really needs that in part of the organizational structure? So what do we do? So there's those kinds of things we're constantly working out. That's the unfinished business. That's the kind of stuff that we deliberate, on the national level. And hopefully we bring some sort of, sense to our IT system that it gets better and much easier to use down the road.
And I think for our young adults, the unfinished business is getting out there, tearing up some new places, and bringing your friends, right? Yeah. Growing the program, getting that average age from 56 down to
please
25. Well, we'll do 30. How about 30?
Yeah, recruitment is huge. We can use your help in that.
We got a couple questions. Don't forget, ask them, comment, tell us what you're feeling about leadership. Tell us what you're feeling about the season. And in a few minutes here, when we wrap up, we got some prizes to give away. So don't leave yet. Questions?
Yeah, actually, we've got some comments. So a lot of people echoing your sentiments about some of the leaders that have been an influence for you. Some shout outs for Dave Walker, Shippy, Slattery.
Wow.
Yeah. Mr.
Just to pick on
Jim to
pick on Jim Slattery for a minute.
Yeah.
The only way he's going to hear this interview is if we
by
send
a
him an
letter.
8-track.
Yeah.
You got to send him an 8-track.
Young adults.
Sorry. You
or snail mail.
Anyways.
Whatever.
Donna wants to accept the invitation.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll set up a live cast. Absolutely.
Only Donna, they start at 8 o'clock in the morning, so that means 4 o'clock for you, sister.
Yeah.
Mr. Robert Gardner wants to say.
Shoma Valley.
He's like right up the road. Come on over, Bob.
Bob I have a personal thing with Bob.
Boy. Let's hear it, Bob. What do you have to say?
Just want to give a shout out. It looks like saying John, Craig, and Chris. The three of you guys are great leaders, and that's why this program is looked at by national.
Wow, thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Wait a minute. Before you go on, there's a little Bob Gardner story in there.
Here we go.
I know. But at the last powder fall, we were out there, and Bob and I believe Jen Heel. Is that right, Jen?
Yeah.
I think Jen was with us.
Yeah.
And so Bob, we were in the trees and watching these yaps just skinny through it. I mean, they were gone, and they're down at the bottom. And Bob is there, and he's like, I've never been on anything this steep before. And so, you know what? That comes back to the training aspect.
Yep.
That all kicks in. All your training, all the things you do to guide people to be successful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bob Gardner, that was a great moment for me. I'm sure it was for you because I have the pictures that demonstrate that. But we had a great time that day, and I'll never forget it. That was a fun time.
Awesome.
Wow.
Other questions or comments right now?
It looks like Mr. Bob Gardner just quickly responded saying he knew that story was coming.
That's what happens when you join the social media thing.
Wow.
A few more questions as we wrap up. Throw in your questions, comments. We got a couple minutes here. John, what is the best part of being a leader?
Oh my God. It's the people around you. It's not the leader part is basically a subset of everything else, right? You just happen to be there at the time, and I'm fortunate and blessed and humbled that people would actually be with me at the time, and we're at a great time right now to show how leadership is. I mean, look at Cal Goldsmith, our new division director, started up this cooped up task force. I mean, we could just be sitting back waiting like this for COVID to reveal. What are we going to do? We can't do anything. But here's this, here's leadership stepping forward. Yeah. There's no snow around. Yeah. There's nothing around, but we have how many people? Cal, right in for crying out. Tell me how many people you got going on there. But I mean, I think
it's a lot.
There's like 30, if I'm not mistaken, it's 30. They dedicated people taking time out of their nights after their hard day's work, putting things together for us, putting things together for our resorts to consider as guidelines. We're not telling you what to do. We're just coming up with ideas that best make sense of it all. And I think, again, People like that, Bill Klein, people, it's just Nancy Mayberry, God.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Right
she's
on,
watching
Nancy.
right now too.
Yeah, she's
so,
Hey, Nancy.
she's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's lots
so
of great
many-
people.
There's so many people out there.
It feels like Patrol brings out the best people.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
their
great.
best friends and families and for life. It really is.
You want to go first?
We just had a quick comment. Andrew Lally sharing a story talking about bringing new people along, saying that he taught his girlfriend how to ski this last season. And
Are they still together?
I think so. It says taught her how to ski around early December, and by January she was in OET class. So I think just
Wow,
that
Andrew.
inspiration.
Sweet.
Very
Wait a
good.
minute, I don't get that. Is he bragging? I'm not sure.
so.
I think it's
Wow.
like a-
Yeah.
The three of us haven't
You know?
been successful.
Yeah, really.
No,
Jeez.
no.
Wow.
And then we have a comment. I'm just reading it coming in now from Roddy.
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 Sugarloaf.
Yeah, commenting
Wow, man.
John's service to Maine region as region director was unmatched. He set a high bar for those to follow. His efforts and accomplishments as division director were equally impressive.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
coming from a guy like Roddy,
Roddy,
that's awesome.
So for some people who don't know Roddy, Roddy is he's an assistant patrol director at Sugarloaf.
But tell them how he started.
He
Oh,
was
he
a yak.
started as a young adult.
Yes, he did.
Absolutely.
Yes, he did, and he still looks like one, by the way. He doesn't age. And Julia, his wife, and the kids,
Yeah.
just phenomenal family, skiing family, and just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thanks, Roddy.
Do you have some?
Yeah, and we have one Miss Deb Kane
Oh, there she is.
who would like to say, I'm very proud of this wonderful man and the work he has done. Lots of hard work, but he loves it.
Well,
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
Well done.
there's the boss.
Yeah.
She finally,
She found
no,
it. Well
she found
done.
us, but
Deb, we,
Well done.
and we fed him dinner tonight, so don't
Yeah.
worry. He's not
Yeah.
going hungry.
and by the way, Laura Coda is behind the scenes here doing all the questions, and she did feed us quite well. But
Absolutely.
but going back to Deb, couldn't do it without you, hon. It's only because of you. So
And you talked about family before. Family's not just patrollers; it's families of patrollers who become
that's just
everybody's family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Deb is much. No, she doesn't wear the cross. She's not a member, but everybody I believe knows her as a member of the National Ski Patrol based on
Yeah.
what we do at the camps, what we
Yep.
do at everything wherever
Every
we go.
weekend.
The certified
Yeah.
events when she's up there being patient manager or laying in the snow for a scenario.
Yeah.
It's people like Deb, it's people like Terry Cross, it's people like everyone that's involved in every one of your organizations. I mean, look at
Yeah.
your programs. How many people do we kind of pull in and make patients and then make
Yeah.
instructors and then have
Yeah.
to do the same thing for other programs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the family. You can't do it without family.
Yep.
And even more today, we're going back to COVID, right?
Yeah.
Family units,
Yeah.
have to be part of the scenarios if we're going to make OEC happen.
Yeah.
If we're going to push OEC forward, we need family units because we
Yes.
can't intermingle in close quarters,
Yes.
inside that is. So that's what we have to do. We got to keep coming up with new ideas on how to do it.
Yeah.
If I had to wrap up what John has said this evening, I remember a very specific instance where we were on the deck at Sugarloaf and the sun was starting to go down. Let's get a little sappy here. And we were on the deck at Sugarloaf out there down by the hotel, and we're standing there, and John comes out and he says, Craig, when are you going to put your talents to use? And there we are standing on the deck after a good day of skiing. And there was this guy who recognized somebody with talent, or so he thought. He recognized somebody who had charisma, somebody who had passion, somebody who had dedication. And there was no pressure. There was no awkwardness. Well, I'm your leader. I'm above. No. When are you going to put your talents to use? And here I am many years later, sitting in the seat that I am, because we had a simple conversation out on a deck where somebody recognized, put your talents to use. Young adults, you have talents. It's time to put them to use. Young adults, you have talents at school. It's time to put them to use. Young adults, you have talents. It's time to put them to use at your mountain. It's time to put them to use. It's not pressure. We're not pressuring you. You're taking what's in you and put it to use.
Yeah.
John Kane, that's what you have done. You have taken your talents, your drive, your ambition, and put it to use. And when you put it to use, you have made the Eastern Division. You have not just the Eastern Division, but you've made the National Ski Patrol better today than it was yesterday, better than it was the day before, better than it was 5 years ago. John Kane, for that, we thank you. We thank you for your dedication, for putting your talents to use.
And you are an everyday hero.
Oh,
So nice work, buddy.
all right.
On that note, I think we got some stuff to give away here.
Hey,
guys.
who wants some free stuff?
So we got some swag today. We got some, of course, Yap flap rim hat here, sticker on, and straight from the national office,
Brand
in
new
Colorado,
stickers.
the brand new young adult program logo sticker, die cut, baby. So,
John, before we give our stuff away, do you want to?
yeah, who's
What's
that?
this little monkey down here? What's this
The
all about?
990?
We got about 3 or 4 minutes left.
Yeah, this 990 guy has been passed around, is awarded every year to one of our leaders in the Eastern Division. It's for taking the monkey off the division director's back. This will be awarded this weekend to some unknown person.
Oh,
One of our
yes,
road trips.
wow.
So Cal will be joining me in handing this out this weekend.
And it gets passed along.
And it gets passed along.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's been
So,
quite a road
John,
trip.
you have a question for our viewers here. And if they get it right, or pretty close to right, I think maybe they'll. What do you want to give away? A sticker pack. I got a whole bunch of stickers. We got hats. What do you want to give away?
I thought you had a car out there.
We
Didn't
do.
you?
Oh yeah, we're giving
No.
away a Subaru.
Subaru. It's only got
no,
what,
no.
400 miles
No.
left? John, ask a question.
Yeah, how many? This is a good one because it kind of gives you a more broad-based, idea of how big the national organization is. So, how many divisions in the national
In
organization?
the entire National Ski Patrol. How many
And
divisions?
we are one. We're called the Eastern Division. So,
Answer right now. Type it into the
Go
comments.
ahead, type it in. How many
First one to get it
divisions
right, we're
in the
pretty
National
close.
Ski Patrol? Go
What
ahead.
are we giving away? A hat?
We'll give away a hat. We'll throw in some
What do you want,
stickers.
hat or sticker?
We'll put
Throw
it in a
all in
box.
there. Throw
we
it
got a
all
couple
in
Maybe
there.
we'll
questions.
even
What is
throw in a
this?
few
What is
buffs
this
in
back here?
there. We got a few things. We'll load a box up for you. We'll
Ooh,
send
I
it to
see
you.
10.
We'll
Eric
reach out.
Silva says 10.
Oh,
10.
Hayden Larson says 7.
Oh, Hayden, you should be in bed.
Ingrid,
What are you doing? You should be in bed.
Ingrid Shuttleworth guessed 13. We got a guess
Oh.
for 10. We got a guess for 9.
Oh boy, oh boy,
Mark
oh boy.
Mark Kern says 2. Mark Klum says 6.
Oh.
Whoa!
Holberg
I
says
think-
13.
I think-
Gardner says 50.
I think we might have to give it away to Silva here.
Oh,
He
I
was the
see it.
closest.
Oh, wait. I see a winner.
Who?
I see an I. Zagorski.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Isaiah
okay.
Zagorski. Yeah.
Is it 11?
11.
Yeah.
We got an
Wow,
11.
okay.
So who's
After
it?
the podcast, probably
I.
tomorrow, not
Zagorski.
tonight. We'll reach out to you. We'll touch base. We'll get some addresses.
Send-
We'll drop some things in the mail, and you'll get a nice box from the Eastern Division here.
With a hat.
We'll send it to you, a box of stickers, a hat. Maybe we'll throw some other things in there. Well done. Thank you.
So send us a DM.
Don't forget the pro division. Somebody's probably not thinking about
And that, yeah, for number 11, it was pro. Craig,
Hey,
you have
I
a
got
question on John?
one more question. Yeah,
Perfect.
while we were talking, John talked about 2 divisions that have section chiefs.
Ah.
John mentioned 2 divisions that have section chiefs.
2 divisions.
If you can remember what divisions have section chiefs, we'll throw you a box. We'll send it in the mail. We'll ship it your way. 2 divisions.
What 2 divisions?
John told us
have
2
section
divisions.
chiefs? Stickers. We got stickers. We got stickers. What 2 divisions have section chiefs? Let's see here. Anybody?
There's a bit of a delay. Oh, we got it. Denise Cowell.
Oh,
Oh,
Denise
Denise.
Coast.
Hey, all right.
Denise Coast. By the way, Denise Coast has the mate to this guy, 501c3, which we need back,
501c3.
Denise. We got to give her up this year. So
Well, we'll send her some stickers
Yeah.
and she could send them
All
over.
right,
There
we'll
you
give
go.
her some stickers.
We got a
Excellent.
bunch of right answers on that one.
Awesome.
You're just looking for the first person.
Yeah, we'll
All
just
right.
do the
Hey.
first.
Everybody,
Hey, you know
Alright,
what? I'll
Denise.
take the second one too. If there's 2 on there, we'll send you a hat. We'll send you some young adult
Wow.
stuff.
All right,
Just
let's
absolutely.
do one from each. So it will be Denise Kaus on Facebook. I think this phone is Facebook, and then the next right answer I see is M Trudson or MT Rudson or
Trudson.
Trudson.
I
Is it
don't know.
Mark
Dave
Trudson?
Trudson's kid?
That would be maybe
Mark
Mark Trudson,
Trudson?
Bolton Valley. Is that where we're
Wow.
going?
maybe.
So send us,
Wow.
send us a DM.
So yeah, you can
M.
send us a
Trudson?
direct message. We'll get your address there, and we'll send you some free
A
stuff.
DM?
Direct message.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
You know,
lingo.
you may be a young
adults use.
adult, but we gotta remediate
God
you
help
on
me.
the lingo. So,
It,
guys,
Mark,
gals,
yeah, it's Mark.
patrollers,
With a C.
Hey, Mark.
non-patrollers, family.
Yeah.
Before we go, our next episode, we have a
Oh.
very.
oh, yeah.
Our
yeah.
next episode.
We
Did I
have a,
broker this deal?
No,
No,
that's another
There's
one?
just 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
I have to say, we have a couple really big
Oh
guests coming
man,
up.
and we got another Alaska episode.
I know.
We're like
yeah,
booked
I
for the
know.
next year.
You know,
Wow.
I think
we might have to get some real camera equipment.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
I think we go on a road trip and
Road trip.
visit these.
No,
people.
we're not Mark Clem.
Yeah,
That's
right.
true.
Nobody is going to be a Mark Clem.
I mean, I could grow.
There's
the
only one
mustache.
Mark Clem out there.
But hey, our next episodes, guys, we actually have 2 real big ones coming up, and we're actually going to be virtually leaving the Eastern Division.
We are.
We are going broad because, like we've talked about today, like John talked about leadership, we as a national organization are together. We are brothers, sisters, whatever you want to call it. The camaraderie is there. So we're going. Our next guest is going to be the one, the only Steve Binns from the National
Steve
Office.
Binns, the national office.
Wow.
And what a story he has. We're going to share his story, get the outside perspective. What does it look from an outsider? Maybe somebody who's never been a patroller looking in and now working in the national office. It's going to be a great episode. Join us next time. We'll make sure we announce it with plenty of time.
So everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hashtag EDApp, hashtag Everyday Heroes. And of course, thank you to Mr. John Kane.
Right on, right
Thank
on.
you, John.
Yeah,
Your leadership and being an everyday hero.
absolutely. Thank
Thanks,
Hey,
guys.
bye, everybody.
Stay tuned, like,
Bye.
and subscribe.